Hello, people of the world, and welcome back on the Marry in Motion podcast. Today, I'm joined by Sarah, again.
Hi.
You might have heard her in a previous episode, and we are still on holidays together, so if you hear some noise around, it's because we are outside in the forest, in a camping ground. Yeah, we will tell you about this later on. This is not the subject of this episode. Today I wanted to talk about being in an international relationship because we both have been or are in an international relationship. So for me, I was with the German guy for almost 2 years. We separated 6 months ago. But yeah, it's quite recent and so it's still fresh in my mind.
And I am in a relationship since 5 months with a Mexican boy. We met in Mexico.
So for both of us, we have a lot to say about this kind of relationship. It's not always easy, but it's very rich. Can you tell us a bit about how you met and a bit about the background of the relationship if you want?
Yeah, I can. So I was on a trip with my best friend in Cancun, and we were about to go to Isla Mujeres. It's an island in front of Cancun. And I was about to take the ferry to go to this island, and I met this guy carrying his stuff, and I just asked, "May I help?" And he said, "Oh, that's so strange. Tourist never helps local people." And from there we started.
I love this story. So the first thing that is very hard in an international relationship or even intercultural relationship, in our stories it's both, it's the language barrier.
Definitely.
Because
You're
my
not-
mother tongue is French and his was German, and we were communicating together in English.
Yeah, and for my part, I speak French too, and I tried to speak Spanish with him, but sometimes at the beginning, we were talking in English because I learned Spanish first before English, but the Spanish from Spain is so different from the Spanish they speak in Mexico. So at the beginning it was super hard to communicate, super hard. But then, poco a poco, step by step, we managed to speak only Spanish together. But the thing is, he doesn't speak French at all. So I am trying to get new vocabulary in Spanish to go forward into debates, into what I think about this or this, and sometimes it's super hard.
I also had this issue because we were both speaking English. We both had a good level, but sometimes, we were not natives, none of us. So we had sometimes misunderstandings, or when you want to go deeply in a subject, you don't have the exact vocabulary, or I felt at the beginning that the conversations were a bit shallow and we never went very deep into subjects.
Yeah.
Because also it was very hard for me at the beginning to speak only English because it was very tiring.
Yeah, and sometimes you have a word and he doesn't know that word, so you try to change the word, but the meaning changed as well.
Yeah, sometimes I was looking for a word in my head and then I was like, okay, I know the exact perfect word, and he didn't know it. So I was like, oh no. So now I have to find a similar word that doesn't really mean what I mean.
Yeah.
That was very frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, it's the same with the Spanish. So we speak Spanish, but sometimes I don't know the word in Spanish and he knows the word in English and I still don't know that word. So we have to check, and the conversation stops because you use your phone, you translate the word and you lose your ideas, and yeah, sometimes it's rough.
Also, sometimes when you translate it to the native language, it's not exactly what it means either. Like, it has a special meaning in English, and if you translate it to French or German, it's not exactly what you meant.
This is why I use word reference.
Why?
Because it's the best dictionary you can have online. Because Google Translate is not good at it. DeepL is not good.
Because you don't translate then, you just look for the definition.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we are not translating all the sentences. You're just looking for a specific word. It's even better. And sometimes the best is just have a small dictionary in paper. That's the great one.
I feel like in every language we have a specific personality.
Definitely.
And sometimes I felt very frustrated because he wouldn't know who I was in French,
Yeah.
and I didn't know who he was in German. You feel like you don't know them entirely,
Yeah.
and something is missing.
For sure, I know my boyfriend in Spanish, and he doesn't know me at all in French, like at all. The only French he knows about me is when I call my mom, when I call my friends, and he's not into the conversation, he's just around. And sometimes I feel I miss some confidence in English, in Spanish, and I have so much more confidence in French, and he will never know that.
Maybe you will have a lot of confidence in Spanish eventually.
Maybe one day.
And I feel like it's also not so balanced because you speak his language.
Yeah, we miss some balance.
I remember for us it was a bit of an issue because my ex knew French. He had it in school, so when we got together he was learning a lot French, and he was trying to speak with me and know my personality in French. And I really didn't have the will to learn German at all. I mean, at the beginning, of course, I was like, oh, cool, I will learn German. And I downloaded Duolingo and I did a few sessions. But that doesn't really teach you German. And then I stopped because I had other priorities and I was not so much interested in learning German.
Involved, yeah.
And not so much involved in these. And so sometimes it was a bit an argument, like, oh, I make the effort of speaking your language and you don't make the effort back.
Yeah.
But also it's not easy because he already had basis in French.
And you did not.
And I didn't have any basis in German. So it was not the same at the beginning. We didn't go from the same basis. I guess it was easier for him, but I also didn't do any effort, I must say.
Let's talk about Duolingo.
You don't like it?
I love Duolingo, but you're still learning the same things every single day. And if you don't have basics, you cannot start with that. I don't think so.
I just learned a bit of vocabulary. That is a bit useless, but at least I knew some words like how to say beer and cat and elephant.
Great.
But I downloaded an app called Knowledge Transfer or Language Transfer. I don't remember, but it was a professor recording his German class, but it was private classes to just 1 or 2 students. And so you had the professor explaining something, and then you had the student trying to answer, and they were encouraging you to also try to answer, to pause and try to guess what was the answer. And this really helped because then I had a more view about the structure, about not only vocabulary, but then it was super easy. Not easy, but the professor gave some, how do you say, like some letters that we have in English. So I was also learning German from English because it's easier.
Yeah.
It's closer to English than to French. For me, it was really more natural to learn German from English. And really, I don't remember anything. But he was saying some letters, if you change them to another one, you would get very close to the German word. So then I could just assume. I had a bit of a system in my mind where I had the word in English, I changed a few letters, and then I would say it in German. I mean, not in German, with this thing, and it would get close to German. And that was quite helpful. This thing was super good. I think if I would have continued, that would have been good in German.
But did you learn with that common language? That the German they speak when they are with friends?
I guess my level was so low that I needed to first learn the basics of the structure of the sentences, of some basic verbs, how to conjugate them.
Because when I arrived in Mexico, I realized that my boyfriend speaks so fast. It was very easier to speak with my stepfathers than with him and his friends. Because they speak super fast, because they have expression that no one knows. Even the fathers, they don't know this expression. We have the same in French. And it was super hard at this moment. And the same when you are in a group of friends, they all speak Spanish from Mexico, you don't know any reference. Like from TikToks, from Instagram, from, this kind of reference, you don't have nothing. And you have to learn step by step every TikTok. It's horrible. But then, when you have the reference, so much better. It's a big part of the language.
Yeah, but also of the culture.
Yeah, let's talk about culture.
I wanted to talk also about the link to the family. The link to the family is also about culture, but I think also about language. Because for me, I didn't speak at all German. And when I arrived in my step family, I don't know if we say that, but in his family, I couldn't communicate. So they would do the effort of speaking a bit of English, but I was seeing also that they didn't want to make the effort. Because, of course, they were not my boyfriend. They were not here to do any effort for me.
Yeah.
It was not easy for them to get to know me. I guess I tried to learn a bit German just so I could speak with his grandparents that didn't speak at all English. But it was hard and they didn't really know me at all. And me neither. I didn't know them. I just saw them. I heard them speaking German. My boyfriend was doing the translation in between. But it's not easy to have proper conversations. We stayed together for almost 2 years. So they were expecting me to become better in German.
Yeah.
And I didn't. So maybe they were not seeing me as very involved in the relationship.
Yeah, because you were in another country, you were not confronted to speak German every day, and it's harder.
Yeah. I had to do the effort every day to learn German while I was living somewhere else where
Speaking
I didn't need
English.
it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And with my boyfriend, we were just speaking English all the time and it worked. So I didn't feel the need to learn German to speak with him. It was only with his family. So I didn't want to.
Yeah. And you told me this afternoon that it was hard for you to know when you have to be involved and try to be involved in the conversation with the family and not. And I'm always trying to be involved in the family conversation and I should not, I think. Because sometimes you told me, we are talking in French with my family. It's a family stuff. Don't try to understand. Just stay
I think
and listen more or less, but don't even try to get involved. Try to understand. It's hard to know because sometimes they are maybe talking about you or about your project, and you want to be involved, and sometimes not. But if it's in German, you cannot know.
For me, I didn't understand anything, so when I was in the family, I didn't really try to be involved. I thought that if they wanted me to understand, they would speak in English or ask him to translate. So when they were speaking only German between themselves, I was just on the side, and I would never say, "Oh, what are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a bit too intrusive, and if they wanted, they would. But maybe if they would have spoken in English, I would have said something. But I guess my opinion was not vital for them. And it was the same on the opposite. So when we were in my family, we were sometimes speaking French because it was getting too annoying to speak in English because my family doesn't really speak English. And sometimes he was trying to be involved in every conversation and it could be a bit heavy to translate everything, or when we just want to talk quickly about something, we don't need to translate all. You don't need to know everything that is happening.
Yeah. But it's so boring to be at the dinner with your step family like for 3 hours and just not understand anything.
Yeah, it happened to me.
That's hard.
Yeah. But it's also not every day for me because you live with them.
I do, yeah.
For you, if you don't understand anything during dinner, it's every day. For me, it was like 2 times. So I don't care. How is it to live with your step family?
I would say that it's pretty easy because they are super welcoming. When I arrived the first day, they was just like, "Oh, you're more than welcome to be here. You are at home." Because my boyfriend lives with his parents. So my stepmother told me, "The fridge is yours, everything is yours, you can cook, you can do whatever you want. If I do my shopping for my food, I put it in the fridge and they can eat it too." My chocolate, my stepmother loves my chocolate. So yeah, it's like that, and it's another culture. Because I know that in France, if your boyfriend, 31 years old, told you, by the way, I live with my parents, let's live together, I would have been like, hell no. But there, of course, yes. Of course.
Because it's very common to stay with your parents.
Yeah, it's common, and we have a little studio apart.
Yeah,
It's pretty
you still
easy.
have some privacy.
Yeah, we still have some privacy, and I don't need that much because they are not intrusive. They are just like my family.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy, but the culture is pretty different there. For example, my boyfriend is not really used to travel, but step by step we will try to develop that. You cannot just change people, and you cannot just change their culture. You just have to share what you know, and he shares what he knows, and it's a good mix, I think. At the beginning, my stepmother told me, "Oh, that's great you're here, because you will be able to work with us at the optic. You will be able to wash his clothes." And I was like, "Ooh, maybe calm down, because I won't be like the woman of someone.
Mm-hmm.
I will be me, I will be myself, and I won't try to change my boyfriend," because she was like, "Oh, with you, he gonna start to travel, he gonna start to do that. I'm not here to change him, and I'm not here to change what he wants."
You just have to find a middle ground that works for both of you, and you both keep yourself, your independence, everything.
Exactly.
Did you feel like their expectation of you being the woman that will take care of his clothes, his food, is still there, or did they understand that you are not like that?
No, I think I never felt forced to be. I understand that it was the culture, and I said, I won't be like that. And my boyfriend never told me like, "You're gonna be here to wash my clothes," like never. But no, they understood. It was easy and fine to just be myself there.
Do you think they accepted it because you are not from the culture? If you would have been Mexican, maybe they would not have accepted this.
It's a good question. I think they will accept everything, because even if the culture is very different, all the parents are the same. They want the happiness of their children, and that's it.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty.
And there is something else, because there are many differences between the two cultures. I would say that Mexico is more old school. Yeah, I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very positive, because I love like the 80s, the 90s. You can fix everything yourself, like your car, your motor, you buy vintage things. It's hard to get delivery by Amazon, by the mail, like the normal mail, you know.
Yeah.
And it takes time, but they take time too. But there is the other side, on another hand, which is, for example, it's okay to slap child.
To hurt them.
To
like
hurt, yeah.
To hit the children.
Yeah, to hit the children. And it's a kind of education I won't give to my child if I have someday. It can be something tricky between us, because he's not used to hear that if you hit your child you can go to jail.
It doesn't work
For him
there.
it's crazy. Besides this kind of tricky things, I think all people are the same, and the love is international.
Wow. Do you see yourself having your children in Mexico? Would you
I do,
Why?
because it's the same. If you ask me, would you like to have a child in United States? I would say no. But Mexico, yeah, of course, because they learn geography of the world, they are very open. I would say that they learn what we learned. So I don't feel unbalanced about that.
Even if they hit the children.
It's something inside the family. If you decide to not hit your child, it's okay.
But you need to be clear with your stepfamily that
Your stepfamily and your
partner.
for sure.
from my point of view, what you tell me there is that it's more relaxed. Also, you listen to your needs more.
Yeah.
You sleep when you are tired. You eat when you are hungry. And you enjoy also the nature. For me, it seems like paradise, really.
It is.
I'm really so happy that you are there. I think for you, the question doesn't really pop up because you are living in Mexico with him. But I know that in a lot of international couples, the question is, where should we settle together?
Yeah, for me it was an evidence, but I know that for you it was more tricky too, because shall we move to France, shall we move to Germany, your country, my country, or neutral country?
Because we met somewhere else, and then our studies finished and we needed to find a place to work.
Yeah.
And the question was, should we work in France, in Germany, somewhere else? And for me, it was very hard to choose either France or Germany because I felt like it was unbalanced and it would be unfair to one. I felt like the other one would always feel as a guest in the country. For example, if we would live in France, I would feel like I need to carry him. I don't know, I need to help him with some stuff. I need to explain everything, and we are not on the same level with the country. One is way more comfortable there, and this was annoying for me, and I think for him too. We didn't want that. We wanted to be on the same level because also we met somewhere else, so the question was there, where should we go next? We wanted to move completely somewhere different. And that's what we decided. At the end it didn't work, but I think it would have been good to just live in a country that was different for both, so we would both struggle with the administration. We would both have the same issues that we could relate to, be like, oh, did you have issues with these? Oh, me too. How do you go to the doctor? I don't know. Of course, if we would have been to France, I could have explained, and there we need to ask someone else, but I think it's fine.
But that's what my boyfriend did. He had to, because I was so lost at the beginning, and I'm still lost sometimes with my papers, the papers I have to do and stuff. But he made the effort and I do the same. And I know for him sometimes it's hard because he has to carry me, as you said. But I'm trying to do my best, but I'm still a tourist there, and I will always be a tourist. The taxis will always ask me 100 pesos to go there, and for him it's gonna be 25. That's a problem. Yeah.
Because if you choose to settle there, you will still be seen as a tourist always.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes he will not understand your situation, or I don't know how it will happen, but for me I didn't want that, to be so unbalanced. But there, at least he's there to guide you, to tell you that the taxi should charge you less.
Yeah.
At least you know.
At least I know. But it's a different adventure for him than for me. But it's still amazing.
Yes. And maybe he will get to visit France too.
Yeah. But to go back to the language, it's hard for him to start to learn French. First, he doesn't understand why, because we live in Mexico. He doesn't have to talk to my mom every day and stuff like that. And secondly, French is hard, super hard. And with no basic, it's super hard. But for sure, he will come. He will come for Christmas, things like that. But he is an isleño, as we say in Spanish. So yeah, sometimes it's unbalanced, but I choose that and it's okay for me. So,
yeah, you chose it.
Yeah.
It's good. But would you see yourself doing some distance relationship for some time, or?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because he's okay with that. I am okay with that. We have all life to be together. Sometimes I miss him, sometimes he missed me, but it's life. How did you live your relationships in distance?
Yeah, we were a lot in distance because, as I said, we were traveling a lot, but we were also not really doing compromises to be together. We were saying that we would eventually be together, so it was okay if we were not during those months or something. So we always prioritized the opportunities we had, the priorities were the opportunities and not really the couple. We were trying to have it in the balance, but it was not the thing that was the most important. And so we were a lot in distance. And I think what really helped is always to have a date when you will see again and not be in the void and like, oh, we are away and we don't know when we will see. And this would be very hard. But we always had like, oh, we will see. Even if it's in 4 months, we know that in 4 months we will see. And that really helped. And then I guess calling.
Yeah, calling is so much better than messages.
Sometimes I felt like it was a bit heavy to call. I had really my routine where I was living and I was very busy, and sometimes calling felt a bit too much because we were calling quite often and I was like, I have nothing to tell since yesterday, like nothing happened, and I would rather work on my stuff than to spend 2 hours on the phone saying nothing.
But I have friends in a distance relationship. They call like 8 hours per day.
But how?
Yeah, sometimes.
It's crazy.
They're just doing everything together. I'm cooking. Okay, I'm gonna cook too. Okay, I'm working on home office and let's do it together. And yeah, everyone manage how they can because it's pretty hard.
Yeah, but I feel like if you are in distance, it's also okay to just be away from the other. Then you are even happier when you see them.
Yeah, true.
I guess you need to keep the link, but calling 8 hours a day, it's not for me. Really, sometimes I felt like I needed to call and I felt obligated to do so because I was like, oh, otherwise he will think I don't love him. But I was just like, I'm just busy. I have other stuff to do than to call, because I felt like we were spending more time talking when we were in distance than when we were together.
Yeah.
If I would be living with him, I wouldn't spend 2 hours just having a face-to-face conversation in the evening. Like, I have other stuff to do too. But I understand it can be important, but it needs to be balanced, and that both want it. So with the time difference, it was not easy.
Yeah, the time difference is horrible. To conclude, do you think that your different culture was one of the causes of your split up?
If we broke up because of this internationality?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think we broke up because we realized that the relationship was never the priority in our lives. Because we were also a lot in distance, so we had a lot of other projects going on. And we decided to move in together in a neutral country. And eventually I moved to this country and he didn't follow. So it's like, okay, this is clearly not the priority. And among a lot of other stuff. But I don't think the internationality was the reason. I must say that sometimes it was a bit tiring for the language to not understand fully. But this is not a reason for breakup. Okay. So I don't think it was.
So love is international?
Yeah, of course, love is international.
Great.
I think this is a perfect way to close the episode. Thank you for listening and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.